I can hardly imagine an attorney who has not served in the military try to take on a case like this and do exactly what you were just talking about, traveling to these different bases and trying to navigate their way around and understanding even like rank structure, even, you know, that type of stuff is just, it surprises me that there are attorneys out there that actually attempt to do this.
There aren't a lot, but you see them are outside the larger bases, right? And so in Honolulu, for example, where I used to practice, there are certain attorneys who've never served a day in the military who now want to take on military cases. Why they want to do this, I can only speculate. But if you, without understanding in how the military works, it usually just doesn't go well. And it's not just in Honolulu; it's all over. Maybe you have that outside of Fort Hood, or maybe outside of Fort Bragg. You have the local lawyer who says, "Yeah, there's these cases here. Maybe they're lucrative. Maybe they, for whatever reason, they try to take them on." And it's just a disaster most of the time. I talk to the military attorneys who have to work with these individuals, and they have to just explain the process, the rank structure, you know, how this works. And not only that, it's not just the rank structure, but it's how commanders think. It's, you know, it's very difficult to understand how the military works unless you've been in. And we've all had, you know, conversations with people who've never served in the military. They think they know, but you know immediately when you've talked to someone who served. And you can just meet them and they're a fellow veteran. There's a certain nomenclature, there's a certain type of language we use. There's certain things that we just understand that you would never know if you hadn't served. And it becomes very difficult to do that in a courtroom. And maybe most importantly, when you try to present a case to a jury, if they, you know, credibility is key. I've talked about this before. You are your client's representative. And so if you're in front of a jury and you don't use the right acronyms, you don't know there's been a staff sergeant and a, you know, and a lieutenant. You don't understand an officer and enlisted. These basic things, if you don't know that and it's obvious to the jury, you have no credibility. And so when you're trying to tell them your closing argument or your client's story of innocence, you're not going to have a lot of credibility with them. And so it becomes really, really problematic across the board.